Francois.
How are you doing?
Good, good. Here we are again. I kind of lost track.
Exciting.
I think this is episode 6, hey?
I don't know. I'm just along for the ride.
Wow. Thank you again for last week. Wow. We spoke about currency, money and wealth. And once again, I'm like always when I walk away, shaken a little bit, and I have to think about a few things, and I have to rethink a little bit, and then go back to the scroll and start again. So thank you for that. And I think I kind of want to put the question out to you today. If we think about money and wealth and currency and all of that, where does resources fit into that? Because in my mind, resources is money. Come on, money and resources is the same thing. Is it the same thing? Yeah.
And so, it's a good question. We ended off the last episode, if I remember correctly, where we just spoke about aligning everything we do, our currency, the trading floor, which is the money, into a position where it not just stores up wealth, but it builds up wealth in a way that positions the next generation or the generations to come. And we spoke about getting the right resources, which fits into that blueprint or plan. But now that is the question now at the end of the day. If we thought everything was money, was just the way it is, then what is resources then? And so if we go back to the basic principle, your body is built in a way that it consists of two basic elements, which is time and energy. Every cell in your body functions according to a vibration, a frequency. And so your whole body actually vibrates. The table in front of you, everything, your house, everything has got a certain vibrational frequency. And so that once again comes down to that synchronized union. Is everything talking the same language? And that's also, it comes down to your body, soul and spirit becomes a resource, where if it becomes synchronized and it gets into union, then it becomes this insane resourceful technology. I don't know if we really understand the true worth of this body-soul combination that Father's given us to function in the earthly realm. It is extremely versatile. It is extremely powerful, and it's a very important resource that we need to look after. But now let's just get very practical. If we look at the story of Jesus in his hometown, it's what we talk about the Nazarene phenomenon, or I sometimes call it the Jesus phenomenon, where people could not recognize Jesus for who he was, and he could not do miracles there. And so why could he not do miracles? Because it's, again, the principle of honor, and we're going to talk about this, but it is synchronized union. There was no synchronicity. Even though they were a family, he grew up, they saw what he did. He turned water into wine. He came into his own hometown, and they did not synchronize with him because they did not recognize him for the resource that he is. And so recognizing resources, and that's why we need to talk about honor, because it's your ability to recognize it. But if you are always looking for Father to bless you in one specific way, and let's call that money, the traditional way we understand money, which is normally just currency, then we are going to limit the way Father wants to bless us, and we are going to limit intimacy. Because let me tell you this story. So we recently moved to a new town. It's a week after my baby girl was born, and so we moved here. We basically knew nobody, and we had to find somebody to babysit our baby so that we can go on with our daily work and chores and all of that. And sometimes a mother just needs a break. And so we were like asking around. We were asking everybody that we could find just to send us somebody or give us a number for somebody that we can connect with. And so we had a first lady over, and immediately our baby girl, I could see she was not comfortable with this person. Even though that person tried everything, she was not happy with this person. And so it was a disconnect of synchronicity, and therefore there was no unity, and therefore the transaction could not take place. But I had to recognize within my baby girl what she needed as a resource. So I could not only look at my need for a resource and just force that upon her, because that would have caused abuse. And that's something we need to understand within the space of intimacy. We need to walk in surrender, not in submission. Otherwise, my baby girl just needed to submit under my authority now. Then we just said, Father, we need this resource. And so our neighbor, who we got acquainted with, said, but listen, I know somebody, let me send them over. And then you just have a quick coffee and see if it works. And this lady is well educated in looking after children. She's done it for many years. She's got like 17 years of experience, and she is just worth her weight in gold. She's just precious. And she said she's just got time on hands. She doesn't need the money. She will come do it basically for free. And we were like, wow. And she came into our home and she just blessed us. But if we did not recognize her as a resource, as a construct of time and energy, we would have wanted to pay her in a way that would make us feel good. Now, Father was blessing us in that moment. So we needed to humble ourselves and just receive the gift in a way that it comes. So we could have asked Father for resources, and we could have expected only finances so that we can pay somebody like her a true worth. But that's not the way Father constructed that. She needed a family to spend time with because she felt lonely. And we needed somebody to look after our baby girl who were on our level of intimacy with her. And so our baby girl loved her. We loved her. And it was for a time and season, and it was just perfect. And we again realized that if we're going to ask Father for resources, we need to expect it in any way and form, not just through finances. And it's the same thing what happened with when we started talking to Father about when our baby girl was going to be born. We told him, like, this is actually your girl. We will father and mother her from a stewarding capacity, but we are not going to take ownership in a way that she belongs to us. She's always going to belong to you, and we're going to partner with you as Yahweh to raise her into the capacity that she's called to come. And we will support her. And so we were going to be partners in father and mothership. And we had a long list of things that we needed for her. And we said, Father, if this is your girl, she comes with her own wallet, her own resources, and you need to provide for her. And so we had this long list, and my wife had a baby shower, and we got everything, and some of it in double. And I'm talking like car seats. We got double car seats. Now, those of you that know, it is the expensive item. We got enough baby diapers so that she had diapers for a year. I kid you not. Now you must imagine how many diapers that is. And so Father just blessed our girl with everything that she needed so that we could partner equally with him in stewardship. And so everything on that baby shower was different in form and size, but you can equate it back to money if you want to. And so it is really about being sensitive to when Jesus approaches you, because he says in the scriptures that you will entertain angels and you will not even know it. But it's because we expect angels to come in a certain form and shape. And angels are also resources, and they bring resources. And so if we are not going to be sensitive to the frequency, that synchronization of union and union with the scroll and with who Father is, we are going to miss the resources. And so that is, it opens up everything. Creation wants to partner with you. Resources wants to partner with you. And resources can take on anything like divine time, divine connections, networking. It's just everything around you is just, it makes life easy. And that is why the scriptures say, my burden is light. It is because when we are in synchronized union, everything works for our good. And all creation partners with us. If we are working against it and we have to work for our own resources with sweat and pain and toil, then it is tough. because we are not in synchronized union with who Father is. And then we want to see resources only come through a specific avenue or in a specific shape or form. So that's more or less the way we talk about it. And that comes back to, I think we've spoken about this, that the independence is mammon versus God, whole thing. And why do we want money? Because sometimes we just want to build our own kingdom, follow our own plan, and money makes that easy. You don't then have to have intimacy with anybody. And so recognizing resources in every shape and form actually shows your capacity to have intimacy. Because if something or somebody comes to your front door and you don't have a preconceived idea of what they're going to say or do, they might be an angel in a certain shape or form that would normally offend you, like a beggar. And maybe they've got something for you. And so it is really about being open. It's not being a bad steward. It's being a good steward, but being open to intimate situations and being able to then see the opportunities to transact and to weaponize your seed and to activate that seed in a way that brings manifestation. Because manifestation is always an agreement principle. That's why conception is always, it takes two to tango. And so that is why it's always a governmental thing.
Again. You know what? I'm one of those people who give money easily. For me, it's easy to give money. I'm not somebody who gives resources, but then I might be one of the people you are talking to now, is understanding that that I need to shift my mindset from that provision is always in a money form, but that resources can be in a totally different place. And that I think what I just recognized when you were speaking about your baby girl is like, your need wasn't money. Your need was somebody looking after her. Okay. But for me, the immediate connection is, but I can't afford somebody to look after her. Where am I going to find money? How am I going to pay this? So that's almost where my first, and I'm sure it's not just me, but I'm thinking, the first kind of thing is, but money needs to fix that need. And we kind of go into that space where money needs to fix the need. But that's not how the economy of heaven works, because everything we need is already provided. And if I can learn to see the need and look for the resource that is already available, and that might not be money at all. But that is a shift that I need to make. And I'm sitting and I'm thinking, I have a few friends who's really trusting and believing God for money to buy a car, but maybe he just wants to give them the car and not the money. So how do we, so it's really just kind of tapping back into that place of intimacy, getting back to the scroll and retraining our minds and stepping into that place of intimacy where we can trust God for the resource and not necessarily money. That is a huge shift to make. In terms of how we think about money and resources. Wow.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
No, and so it speaks about our concern of having lack, because normally if you have money, you feel okay. And I know there's a story that is told about the ancient fathers who they had the capacity to manifest directly what they needed. When they went on the journey, they never took food with. Jesus said the same thing with the disciples. You just take the basics with. You don't even take an extra pair of clothes with. You will get what you need, even in the community. And I know we're going to talk about this principle some more in the future, but it is about how this ancient fathers started teaching the community. Listen, if you want to bake bread, you can manifest the seed first, then plant the grain, then harvest the grain, and then bake the bread. And you can just manifest the bread, because it's the same construct. Why go the long route which is the recipe. And that's the problem. We use recipes to create this safe space for us to feel comfortable. And then our recipe actually becomes our God, or becomes our intimacy space, where if you just go directly for the bread, your Father is good. That's also a way of doing intimacy, and that could also be fine. But we take the long way, and that is the same principle of working for it. It's sweat and toil and pain. And so why follow that if you could just go directly for what you need? And if you understand the fact that when you ask for something, it will manifest, and in accordance with Father, because Father gives according to your heart. And if your heart is in synchronized union with Him, heaven partners with earth, and it comes to being, then you will get what you need when you need it. Then you never have that fear of, I'm going to have lack, therefore I just ask for money, and therefore I can just do my own thing, which is again independence, which is not synchronized union. That is the problem. That's why the root word mammon actually comes from or explains the position of being independent, where Father's whole economy, community, is being in union. And that's why we don't understand the worth, the true worth of money, the true worth of things, because we don't barter. Barter is being in an intimate conversation, saying, listen, I'm willing to have a mature conversation with you, not be offended, not offend you. Are you willing to exchange this product for that product? And so it gets a conversation going. And that is the thing. We've got a detached mindset, lifestyle, with how we go about the things of creation, the manifest things of creation. And so we don't steward that well, because we've got no real connection to it. Therefore, we don't understand the worth of it, which is once again a thing of honor. And so that creates inflation, that creates problems in the economy, because we are just consuming, because we've got a lack mentality. And so that's why we really need to get down to understanding the true worth of things and recognizing the resources in the shapes and forms that they come.
Wow, I think the penny kind of dropped for me. And I know we're going to speak about community and community resources maybe a little bit later. But I think something just dropped for me is that money is really detaching us from community and from people around us. And that is the independence mammon thing that you've been talking about. Because if I have money, I don't have to have a connection with you. I don't have to barter with you a bread for some diapers. I don't have to have connection with you because I have money. There's the community part of what is really God's heart is really cut off. So when we can step back into that place of trusting for resources, healing will come in our families, in our communities.
100%. Now you're touching on the right thing, because if we take 100 years back, now it's probably, we don't even have to go that far back, but if you would live a secluded life, where you just stay in your house and you never go out, you never leave your house, you would have died with either from hunger or thirst soon. Where today you can order everything online, they can come deliver it to your door, and you don't have to see a single soul forever. You can just be. And so the concept there is, you are amputated from the world. 100 years back, if something is amputated, that limb dies because it's cut off. Today, with our technologies, we can keep something alive in an artificial state, but it's not healthy. And therefore, there's no healing, because there's no true blood flow through that limb. And it's what you said, if we get reconnected with our community and families, we actually start healing, because they sit with a certain part that we need, a certain deposit that Father's put in them that we need, which comes back down to really getting the community involved. And so we are sitting in a time that we've got a lot of technology, very powerful, but if we don't steward it well, we're going to steward it in a way that is independence or mammon. And then we're going to basically just kill ourselves in a way that we are still alive in a shell, but actually dead inside.
Whoa. And then it's time to heal the communities. Yeah, it's time to step back into that space. Francois, thank you once again.
You're welcome.
Whoa. So next time we're going to connect a little bit about honor, because honor and money and community is very, very, very important. So I look forward to having that chat with you. But for now, thank you and see you next time.
Right. Bye.
Bye.